Hello, my name's Kevin Robinson. I'm the programmer on Ajaxna. In the previous tutorial, I showed the introduction, how to download, install, and write your first program using the Ajaxna framework. This time we're going to try and have a little bit of fun with it and see if we can render some 3D geometry in a web page using the framework, which doesn't use any plugins or anything like that. So what I've done here, just to start us off, I've created a blank website called Ajaxna Tut2. I've added in our namespace.js file, and I've also added the Ajaxna control onto the web page. So that's it. So the first thing we're going to do is to create a namespace for us to work in this time. So I'm going to use add namespace, my app. Okay, and the next thing to do is just like an XNA program. We're going to have a class which extends game. So we're going to have this one called game1, and we're going to use this code template, which is in the my templates section, and add one of those in. And this will be our game, and it's going to have some overrides that we can put our code into to make it do what we want. Okay, so the first thing on the to-do list is the namespace.js. Well, we've got one of those already, that's not a problem. We are going to change the namespace this time. So I'm just going to do a quick global replace and replace my Ajax app with simply my app as I defined it. Place all. Okay, and that's done. Right, so this template has given us a few overrides. We've got an initialize, we've got update, and we've got draw. So what I'm going to do during the initialize phase of our game is to construct the three matrices which are required for rendering 3D geometry. Those matrices are the world, the view, and the projection. So I'm just going to start off by saving myself some typing and creating a few shortcuts for myself here by saying that var matrix equals an Ajax math matrix, and var vector 3 equals an Ajax math vector 3, and a var math helper equals Ajax geometry math, and a var VP, which will be our viewport, is actually going to be this graphics device viewport. So with those things in place, we can go ahead and define these three matrices. And we do that on the graphics device. It has a transform. This is going back to the old Managed DirectX API. We don't have shaders, this is JavaScript. So we're going to set the world matrix to start with. This is very simple. We're going to set that to an identity matrix. So matrix.identity, which is a method, static method. The next matrix that we want to do is a graphics device transform.set the view matrix. And to create a view matrix, we can use the matrix.createLookAt helper method. So where would our camera be? That's a vector 3, so a new Ajax math vector 3, and we want our camera to be located 0 on X, 0 on Y, and 5 back towards us on the Z axis. And what's our camera target going to be? That will be a vector 3, 0, the center of the world. That's what we're going to be looking at, and the up vector is going to be a vector 3.up. Okay, so that's our view matrix set, and the last one is graphics device transform set the projection, and we can do that using this helper method called create perspective field of view. And the field of view is going to be a math helper pi over 4, which is a standard field of view. The aspect ratio is going to be the viewport width divided by the viewport height, and my near plane distance, I'm just going to set that to 0.1, and the far plane distance to be 100. Okay, and that's my three matrices set up. So the next question becomes, what is it that we're actually going to render? I'm going to use a mesh object so that I don't have to faff around declaring vertices and doing all that stuff manually. So the first thing I need to do is to import that particular class, which is Ajax Geometry Mesh, so that it will be available for use. I'm doing it up here, just import it straight away without messing around, because we know that we're definitely going to need it. And I'm going to have a mesh as a private member. Private members, I'll put them here. I might as well just put a little underline to keep things neat looking. So my app.game1 prototype. And I'm going to have my member is going to be called mesh, and its type is going to be Ajax Geometry Mesh, and we can set it to the prototype so that our IntelliSense, when we refer to this mesh in our code, our IntelliSense will know what type that is and give us the correct IntelliSense on it. I'm going to load the mesh, or create the mesh actually in the LoadContent override. This particular template doesn't give us a LoadContent override, so I'm just going to manually create one here. My app, game1 prototype, LoadContent. So there is the method that we want to override. If we just do that and open the bracket, we can see it doesn't take any parameters, and also there is no need to call base. So we just create a method with the same signature, no parameters, and in here we're going to say this mesh equals Ajax Geometry Mesh create box. So I'm going to use the create box just to create myself a little 3D box. This .get document is the first argument, and I have it 1, 1, 1 in size, and a color, Ajax drawing color, make it green. Okay, so that's our mesh now defined. Now I think it would be interesting to have this, how are we doing for time? Not brilliant. I think we need to have this rotating so we can see that it's definitely 3D and not just a square on the screen. So in here I'm going to define a rotation speed to be based on the game time, elapsed time, times 0.001. This means that the speed will be constant no matter how many times update is called. And then I'm going to reflect this in the world transform. So back to our graphics device transform, get the world transform, and multiply in Ajax math matrix create, again another helper method, to create a rotation around the y-axis, and the angle is going to be rot speed, so it's going to rotate it by that amount every update, which will vary depending on how much time has elapsed since the last update. And finally, all we need to do is to draw our mesh, which we will do down here. So this dot mesh dot draw, and we're going to pass in this graphics device to do that. Currently it's going to be drawing it on a cornflower blue background, so I'm going to just change that to be black. And that's it for that particular class. I'm now going to add in a program file just so we can kick this off. And actually I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to do the rest of this in another tutorial because I'm just a bit concerned that we're going to run out of time, our 10-minute allocation. So just leave it in that position and tune in to the next in sequence of this video tutorial. Thanks for watching.